Let's take a quick look at an exam question and some answers from students. This question is based on the scenario only. What financial arguments in relation to accidents could you use to convince the directors that health and safety needs to be improved? 10 marks available for this. So this is clearly about, financial arguments. So let's take a look at a couple of things that a learner had put in their answer as practice. So moving forward, we should fill out the accident and near miss books, as reports from workers say that they happen frequently. So that's just an example of something that a learner had put, which on its own, makes sense, but it's not answering the question that's been asked. It's not a financial argument. There's nothing about financial arguments within that little snippet. Other things that they did get some marks, but I just wanted to pick out something where it's got nothing to do with the question. Literally, with a question like this, if it's asking for financial arguments, then literally everything that you write in your answer should, in some way, shape or form, have a financial argument element to it. It's another case of, similar to the last video we put out, it's a case of misreading the question or answering a question that has not been asked. This is very, very, very common. It's one of the most common mistakes that people make with this course. So, don't beat yourself up too much about it if you're making that mistake as well. But what I want to emphasize is to dig a little bit deeper and ask yourself, well, if you fail to read the question properly. Before we continue, if you're considering a move towards working in health and safety, it's absolutely essential that you're well prepared. That's why I want to take a quick second to let you know that you can study for the NEBOSH Managing Safely or the NEBOSH General Certificate, both national and international versions, online with us at Stockwell Safety. So if you're ready to take the first step towards a rewarding career in health and safety, see the links in the description to explore our industry-leading e-learning, NEBOSH and NEBOSH courses. Why? It's a bit like underlying and root causes, which you'll know all about if you've covered the section on accident investigation. It's no good just identifying direct or immediate causes, i.e. failure to read the question properly. You need to, or you would benefit from, digging a little bit deeper and uncovering the underlying causes for that and addressing those. You'll get a lot more mileage, and it's a much more valuable activity to do, is to say, well, why am I misreading the question carefully? It could be, are you rushing? Are you short on time and you're rushing this? So if that's the case, obviously take the necessary steps, take your time with it, carve out some time where you can give your full attention to it. Is it because you prefer, you don't miss things when you're hearing it verbally, but when you're reading, you can kind of miss some parts of the question? If so, address that. It's a different underlying cause, isn't it? Address that. And these days, most web browsers allow you to highlight text and get your computer to read it to you rather than you reading it. That might help. It could be that you're just confused, completely confused. It's early days in the course and you haven't really had time to start absorbing the material yet, and you're feeling overwhelmed. And the fix to that kind of problem might be to back off from attempting to answer questions at too early a stage in your studies. We get people that enroll, and within half an hour they're sending us answers to practice questions, which is way too early. It needs to be sort of slow down a little bit, start absorbing the material, just reading through it, becoming comfortable with it. So there's different fixes, different sort of controls that you can put in place, if you will, for different underlying causes. I think it's perhaps a bit of a mistake to just brush it off and say, oh well, I didn't read the question carefully, and then plow on. It's actually, no, stop for a bit and think about, well, why did I miss that? Why did I miss the meaning of that question? Why did I end up going on a bit of a wild goose chase with my answer and go wildly off topic? What is the cause? If you can successfully identify the underlying cause and fix that, it should then pay dividends on all the future practice exam questions that you have a go at. So that's the takeaway from this little video here, is carry out a sort of a mini kind of analysis or engage in some reflection when you identify that you've made a mistake, such as misreading the question or answering a question that has not been asked. Just spend a little bit of time thinking about, well, why was that, and what can I do to prevent that underlying cause from cropping up again? Because unless you fix that underlying cause, you're gonna end up making the same mistake with all the exam questions that you submit.